um, have an opportunity to experience some of the inner critic and maybe noticing poses where, when are we going to get out of this, or oh no, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, so just to take on the attitude of being your own personal support worker, which is relevant in this time right now. And as far as anything that you need, uh, furniture in the room, whatever you can grab at times for balance. You can use walls or chairs or couches. I've got just a flat blanket, or you can use a towel for your knees. Um, I have a couple of pillows back there, and you don't need to have any of these things, but there's a pose that we might do at the end of the class to relax in, called the Battling Brook, that you can bolster yourself up a little bit. I've got just a scarf uh, that we'll use a little bit at the beginning, but if you don't have that, that's okay. You can use a t-shirt or a sock or nothing at all. So we're going to start lying down. You don't need anything there. You can have if you do have the sock or scarf, then it can just be by your mat somewhere. If you want a little something underneath the head, that's fine. But we're just going to come down onto the back. And as that invitation to extend some goodwill towards yourself, we've made it through the Blue Monday. We're all here. We're together. This opportunity to just kind of stop the ticking clock of the mind and all the places that we've been this morning, all of the things that are just flowing down the river. So bring your knees in towards your chest and wrap your hands underneath your thighs. If your hips are really tight, or on top of your shins, you can give a little bit of weight of the arms. And we're extending a bit of a hug towards ourselves. So just in the physical posture, it's like a child's pose. It's just a gesture of support and taking a step back for a wider perspective, not to have any destination or any particular expectations for your time for the hour, but just to know that you're here in a safe zone, and that you'll listen to yourself and modify your practice you can make it a little more fiery if you want. And if you're feeling tired, then just let yourself be tired. Bringing the feet to the floor now. You can keep your knees bent, with the knees dropping into touch and the feet a little wide, or extend the legs long. Tucking the shoulder blades in a little closer towards each other, and you can let the palms roll open, or maybe even the hands can rest somewhere on the body as a way to make contact. Starting with landing right in the middle of your day, in the middle of your crazy, wild life. This is the practice, just to be present to whatever is arriving with a little bit of curiosity, friendliness, even tenderness. Feeling the weight of the body, the points of contact with the earth. Maybe picking up some of the other sensory experiences that are happening right now, some of the sounds that are in your field of hearing. or the field of vision, color and light, whether your eyes are opened or closed, doesn't matter. No particular breath practice, but notice that breath is breathing the body right now. Just feeling the soft undulation of inhale, followed by exhale. Let your awareness rest in the face for a moment, in the expression that may be still there from earlier. Some lines between the eyebrows or a bit of clenching of the teeth. And see if you can turn the corners of your lips just very subtly upwards. That will relax the muscles of the face and send a message to the nervous system. I listened this morning to just a news report about the benefits of, well, they called it stretching, but just a study that was done between comparing brisk walking, a half hour a day, 5 days a week, with the same activity, only a stretching program or yoga for a half hour a day, 5 days a week. They found that the participants in the stretch side had experienced lower blood pressure and resting heart rate more so than those that had done the walking. And not to discourage the cardio, but just something that can maybe be an encouragement for this practice of attending mindfully to all of the systems in the body, even when we're resting. And take a big stretch and breathe in there. And then exhale, let the arms float down and bend the knees. Again, if the legs straightened out, and have your hands reaching down towards the heels. We're going to start with a little pelvic rocking. So let the low back drop in, let the ribs down, and let the tailbone start to curve upwards, but not to lift your hips off the floor. And then let the inhale take the pelvis in the other way. So feel some space underneath the low back as the tailbone drops down. Let's do this with our breath. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4, the low back drops. And then inhale, moving the other direction, the hip fronts roll towards the thighs. And you can try going back and forth like that with a count of 3 or 4 in each direction. Just warming up the deep core muscles, the transverse, and getting that massage through the lower back. Breathing in one way and breathing out the other way, starting to engage in. Doesn't have to be all together, but just some rhythm of your breath that makes sense in your body this morning. Feel the feet on the floor. Let's do that a couple more times. All 4 corners of the feet. Feel the arches. Feel the arms a little bit strong. And then let's just press the hips up so the lower back is off the floor, but the upper back is still on the floor. You can walk the feet a little bit closer together. And so you definitely have some space underneath the lower back and start to feel some work in the legs. The hips are still a little bit heavy here, and the bottom tips of the shoulder blades are still on the floor. We're going to float the right shin just for a moment, breathing in, and then tap the right foot back towards the ground. So float the right shin. Doesn't have to come all the way up. It might come up to a tabletop. And then lower the left foot and go from side to side, just really quietly lifting one shin and then the other. Breathing in to lift And exhaling to lower. Keeping the hips quiet. This is quite a bit of work here in the hamstrings. And let's do one more on each side. It's waking up the legs and the belly. And then slowly roll it back down. And bringing it to a pause at the bottom. And then sliding the hands behind the back of the head. And cradle the head. You can see your elbows in your peripheral vision, so just lift them up a little bit here. And then start to curl up, just a little curl in the spine. Don't press the lower back to the floor, so still feel a little bit of breeze blowing underneath the low back. And then let's try lifting up the right shin and lowering the right shin and lifting up the left shin and lowering the left shin. So we'll breathe in. We're just doing that same walk as we shrink the ribs down towards the hips and see the elbows in our peripheral vision, pulling the drawstring at the waist, lightly tapping. And we're trying not to strain the neck, so we're not coming up too high. Good, and then let's lower the head back down. Just take a breath in, good work. And then exhale, let's float the shins again. Let's have both shins come up this time. And then tuck the chin and just curl up into that little shape. And stretch the right leg away on a diagonal. And take the right armpit towards the left thigh. And then come back to center with the leg and the elbow. Stretch the left leg on that diagonal. Take the left armpit towards the right thigh. Inhale back to center. Right leg extends, right armpit towards left. Inhale, center. And switch. And let's do two more. Through on each side. Wrapping the ribs. A bit of a crisscross, those muscles. And then lower the head. Bring the knees in towards the chest and give that a squeeze. And just rock side to side. You can take the knees a little bit wider, either cradling under the thighs or bring the hands to the knees as you let the heels just dangle here and just swish the tailbone around in whatever way feels good. And then either roll to one side or rock a few times back and forth, massaging in that lumbar spine, only if it feels good. So bring in that personal support person and come all the way up. Let's take it over to the hands and knees. I've got quite I look like I don't know, I'm some other kind of being with the sunlight in my room. So I'll try to stay out of that for you. The more you can listen to my cueing and not have to look, maybe the less strain on your neck anyways. We'll just bring it into a tabletop shape and peel it into a cat. You can come right up onto your fingertips to stretch out the wrists. Come into a cow shape on the inhale and then exhale. Draw the belly in and send your hips back any amount. Inhale, come forward, fingertips, squeeze the shoulder blades together, coming into that cow, that squeeze of the shoulder blades towards each other. And then exhale into a big cat and maybe coming back. You can come back a little or a lot all the way to the heels. Let's do that 2 more times, inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale. Just getting onto some breath rhythm. And exhale. And then come back up to table. You can use fists or palms, whatever feels better. You can use blocks underneath your hands anytime if you have those. We're going to barrel roll out. So lift up the right side of the rib cage as you look back towards your right knee. And then through a little cow in center. And then in and up and over the other side, just like you've got a barrel in your rib cage or a ball inside there. And there's no rules here, there's no right or wrong. So just stirring that pot out, just letting the head, neck, and shoulders go with it all. Creating some space in the rib cage and along the spine for all the messages between the body and the brain, and changing direction. And then bring it back through. And we're going to come right into a seat. And that seat could be up on something. You could sit in a chair. If you don't feel like sitting, you could stand. If you have a sock or a strap, something to grab onto, or just your t-shirt. And once we're sitting up, we're going to stir a few circles here. So get into a little bit more of that. And you might feel this in the hips as well, drawing the belly in on the way back. You can use your hands against your thighs. And then broaden across the collarbones, exhaling to come back. Inhale, reach the heart forward. One more time in that direction. And then just change up the circle. Reaching forward with the breastbone and pulling back through the rib cage. Freeing up the shoulders after maybe doing some work at a screen. And then slow it down to come back. Bring the right ear over to the right shoulder and press the left palm away. Just reaching out through the left palm, maybe look out over the right shoulder and take 3 breaths there. That's 1. Just find your steady breath. 2. And 3, drop the chin down towards the chest. Just reach the left fingers up towards the ceiling now and bring the right hand down. So don't take a big side stretch, just reach it up there. You might look up towards the left hand, and you can bend the right elbow a little bit, working on finding length through the whole left side rib cage under the arm. And let's bring the left hand behind the head, support the head as you look up. And then we'll bring the left elbow towards the right knee. Find some flexion in the spine and then open that up again, breathing in. And then left elbow towards the right knee. We're not necessarily getting anywhere near it, but just moving in that direction. Open it up, breathe in. And then exhale there. And then just let your left hand come to your right thigh, start to sit up a little bit taller and reach the right arm back, just straight behind you, coming into a twist, wherever your left hand can reach to. So just resist trying to strain into places where your body is complaining. Take 1 more breath in this twist. And then bring that right arm forward and across and wrap it in with the left. Let's eagle shape the arms here and lift the elbows. And then exhale to feed the breath into the upper back, taking 3 breaths in this thoracic flexion. It's 1, 2, and 3. Release the arms. Loop the shoulders up and down the back, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Let's take the strap or a sock over top of the left shoulder and reach that left arm up again. So just straight up with the left arm, and then this time bring the hand down to take a hold of your shirt or whatever you've got back there, and reach the right arm open. And then bend the right elbow and slide that hand to take a hold of, maybe if your hands come together, great, no prizes though. And coming into that as best as you can and breathing along the spine, moving the elbows away from each other. Allowing the breath just to feed through the rib cage here. Bringing in that you're sitting a little bit back from any of the thought loops, just like they're in a stream going by. Exhaling to release the arms. And just give it a few shrugs. Squeeze, inhale, and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Just let something go. So wherever it is, if you're sitting, readjust yourself. If you're cross-legged, maybe take it the other way. And let's drop the left ear to the left shoulder. And just pause there, press the right palm away. And press the palm away and towards the floor, fingers towards the ceiling as you take a couple breaths along that right side neck. Exhale, look over the left shoulder, 3 breaths there. Resting attention in the breath, just like it was a hammock. We're resting the mind in that hammock of breathing, whenever you find that helpful. And come back to center with your head. Reach the right arm up and bring the left fingertips down and just keep that side stretch there. So not so much as a straight lift. Keep the straight lift and not so much of a side bend. Maybe look up towards that hand. Keeping the weight of the right sits bone heavy, and then take the hand behind the skull if that's available. Otherwise, you can just keep the reach up. And then we'll take the right elbow towards the left knee. So coming into that flexion, a bit like a cat. And then open it up. The left elbow can be any amount bent. And then exhale. Right elbow towards left knee. Open one more time. And exhale. And then bring it back up. Reach that arm up. Inhale. And then exhale, we'll take it into the twist. So the right hand somewhere along the right thigh or shin or wherever there's some leverage, take the left fingers behind, reach that arm back so you feel a little more of this in the core. You can always bring the left arm down, extending your gaze, the stretch of the eyes a little bit further than wherever your neck might be going. And then slowly bring that arm back, bring your gaze back to the front and dropping the left shoulder down, drawing the left arm across. You can give yourself a hug or eagle shape the arms. It's taking each posture as if it was the first time you've done it, or maybe the last time you'll ever do it. Breathing in, what does your body need? And exhale, chin to chest. 3 breaths here. Mind resting in that hammock. Let's lift up, inhale. Exhale, release the arms. You can reach them back. You can clasp the hands together, or you can take your sock or scarf and bring that around behind the back so you can have a really good upper back bend here. Reaching the arms down towards your tailbone or reaching the arms back a little more. Wherever it is that you can breathe with some ease and fullness. And then release. Good. So we're done with that. We're coming over the hands and knees and coming back into a tabletop. Let's get it moving here into our flow. Use padding, use blocks, use walls. Just take it into the tabletop shape, and let's do one more time, just through a full cow, breathing in, then exhale into cat. And take it into a neutral spine now, drawing the tailbone away from the crown of the head and curl the toes under. If you have tender wrists, you can do fists instead. Otherwise, press out into all the fingertips and get light in the knees. They may or may not lift up as you hover here for 3, 2, and 1. Keep the knees bent, send the hips up and back. Take it comfortably wide. distance with your feet. This might be a shorter downward dog than you might normally do, just warming up, lengthening out through the spine and letting the head just act like a weight, pressing out through all the finger bases. The heels can be heavy, but quite lifted. Just feeling the breath moving along the side, front, and back of the body. Feeling the connection with the ground and with the breath. Good, and then come back to the hands and knees. Breathing in. And stretching the right leg back, curl the toes under. And float the right heel up towards the ceiling. Bring the left hand behind the head as you inhale. Tap the right toes down as you take the left elbow towards the right wrist. Inhale, left elbow opens, leg floats. And exhale, tap the toes and take the left elbow towards the right wrist. Inhaling, lifting everything, and then exhaling. We're keeping the hips fairly square through this. Let's do 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last one, breathing in. Wrapping the ribs, touching down. Inhale, open, lengthen out through the back heel. And bring the left palm down, bring the right knee towards the nose. Exhale. Curl the left toes under, press the hips up and back. Reach back into a 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, track the left heel towards the right side of the seat, and hug the right inner thigh towards center for 1 more breath there. You could also do this from your knees. Reach the right leg back as you breathe in and bring the right knee towards the nose 1 more time. Shift the shoulders forward over the wrists. Lots of work for the wrists here. Let's step the right foot up now and press out through the back heel. Get lots of length. Reach as far back as you can through that left thigh. Lift the hamstring towards the ceiling and then tap the left knee down. Sitting into a lunge as you breathe in and out. And then reach the arms up. Inhaling into a high warrior or a high kneeling warrior. And exhale, twisting over towards the right. Just spread the arms. Let's come back through center and breathe in. Both arms lift. And exhale, twisting it over towards the right. Inhale. Last one, exhale, wring out the cloth. And then inhale here and take a hold of opposite elbows. Draw the belly in. Draw the pelvis back a little bit so it's more or less over that left knee. Getting a stretch through that iliopsoas, the iliac crest there. And taking 1 more breath. Let's sit a little bit lower if that's available. Pull back through the right heel. Reach the arms up, maybe look up. Crescent lunge. Exhale, bring the hands on either side of the front foot and pick up the back knee again. Press out through that heel. We're going to place weight in the hands and just step it into a plank pose. And let's bring the right elbow down. Give the wrists a break and then the left elbow. And clasp your hands together here. Looking down the length of your body to see that your hips are low and they're not sagging. The back of the heart is puffing up towards the ceiling, and then you can look forward. You can tap the knees down at any time. Just breathing here in this really strong shape, like a long arrow of determination. For 1 more inhale. Exhale, tap the knees, the thighs. Wiggle the elbows a little further forward and take it into a Sphinx pose. So we've opened up the back a little bit. Take the legs long. And we'll take 3 breaths here. Softening in the pelvis. If there's any lower back pain, then just slide the elbows further forward. Come down lower. It's 1, 2. And 3, bring the hands now just beside the low ribs. Move them back a little further. Let your forehead be on the ground. And then come to your fingertips, let the elbows lift a little bit, let the belly draw in. Just float the nose off the floor, come up just a wee bit. So make it really, really low. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the elbows, get light in the hands. Fingertips stay on the floor, or they can get light enough that the hands float right off the floor. You might float the legs as well for a baby Shalabhasana. Very energizing pose. One more breath. Hands come down, forehead comes down. Take a break there. On an exhale, on empty, press back up through table. And take it into child's pose. Nice. You can walk the hands forward. Come up on the fingertips. We'll give the wrists a break. Or you can let the hands come right around by the feet and make a fist with the palms facing the ceiling. That will also just stretch out the wrists. We'll take 3 rounds of breath feeding into the kidneys. You can stay here a little bit longer if you like, or sit right back towards the heels. Bring the fingertips behind the back, loop the shoulders back, and lift the breastbone. Hips can stay heavy towards the heels, or they can float up. Just keep looking down towards the front of your mat for one more breath. Exhaling here, we'll come back to hands and knees. And we'll curl the toes under again from a tabletop shape. Getting light in the knees, just feeling the core lifting in is enough. The knees might lift up or not. And then with the knees bent again, we'll send the hips up and back for another downward dog. Do whatever you need to do here and start to bounce a little bit, or let one leg lengthen out and the heel drop, and then same thing on the other side, just taking a walk and a pedal out. Just move your mouth around, stick out your tongue. How am I doing right now? Can I be present to whatever's arising with a little bit of friendliness? Let's come back to the hands and knees, back to tabletop shape. So this time the left toes will curl under, and we'll draw the breastbone forward. Float the left foot just a little bit so the hips stay level. And bring the right hand behind the head to open up the elbow just to the side. So you're not taking a twist here. The elbow is just reaching to the side. And then tap the left toes as you take the right elbow towards the right wrist. It's a little bit weird. And then open up, lift the left leg any amount. Open right elbow, tap the right toes, and right elbow towards left wrist. Open, everything lengthening, and then squeeze and wring out. And one more time, lengthen, open, and twist, exhale. As you open up, bring the right hand back to the ground, left palm. Bring the left knee towards the nose. Get the flexion in the spine. And curl the toes under, press the hips up and back, 3-legged dog. Open up the left hip, bend the left knee, let that heel just heavy. And shake some of the blockages out of your brain. Straighten out the leg. Left knee towards the chest as you come into a 3-legged plank. Lift the hips really high. Heel towards the bum. Step the left foot forward and press out through the back heel. So low lunge. Just keep the back knee lifted, get light in the fingertips. Maybe float the fingertips up. Scissoring the inner thighs. Good. And then the back knee will tap down here. And we'll reach it up into a crescent lunge. Breathing in. Exhale, draw the ribs back and twist it over towards the left. Inhale, arms reach up. You might sit a little lower. And exhale, draw the ribs back and open to the left. Last time, inhale. And exhale, open. Go back through center and take a hold of opposite elbows. See if you can find the other way. Or you can just do a cactus arms if your shoulders are tight. No problem. Modify your practice to where you're able to breathe with some ease, or to just be okay with all of the sensations that are lighting up the body here. Reach the arms up for the last one, crescent lunge. And bring the hands down on either side of the front foot and pick up the back knee. Lifting in the core as you press the palms down and lean a little weight forward so you can step it to plank. Let's take the left elbow down, the right elbow down, so we give the wrists a break again. You can have your hands shoulder distance apart or clasp the hands together again. Look back to your feet. And then look forward again. 2 more breaths here, or tap the knees down. Next, exhale brings the thighs down, pelvis, coming into a Sphinx pose or any variation of a back bend. Elbows underneath the shoulders or a little further apart, further forward. Slowly lower down, slide the hands to the lower ribs. Reach the legs back, loop the shoulders, and come into a baby cobra. Lighten the fingers, energetically lengthening the front body. Exhale, lower, press up and back. Let's take it into child's pose again for 3. Any variation with the arms. You can also rest your forehead on top of your palms. That'll give your wrists a bit of a massage for 2. And 1, stay there longer if you like, or sit back towards the heels. Loop the shoulders, bring the fingertips behind. Keeping the seat heavy or floating it up and reaching, lengthening out the iliopsoas. Exhale. Come back, let's come through table. Ooh, curl the toes under and lift the hips high. Downward facing dog for 3. No, it's all invitation. Modify the practice. Take breaks. Come to child's pose. Serving yourself up some perspective, some friendliness. High on the tiptoes, breathe in. Walk the feet up towards the front. Lengthen halfway, so bring hands to shins or thighs and fold over the legs. Just let the head dangle there, the arms dangle loosely. And then we'll slowly roll up. So bend the knees and start to take it all the way up. Reversing ragdoll. Loop the shoulders up and down the back and just pause here now that we're in this standing posture. Feeling ground, having your own back, being aware of the back body, some breath in the back body. Surya Namaskar A, breathing in, reaching the arms and exhale to dive over the legs. There's a little bend in the knees. We'll come up halfway, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, bend the knees as you fold. Lift the palms, step the left leg back. And then step the right leg back to plank pose. Shift forward. Let's all tap the knees down. Bend the elbows nice and narrow as you lower to the ground. Stretch the legs back. Loop the shoulders for a cobra pose or whichever back bend you prefer. There can be the Sphinx, or if you're a super energized yogi and you like upward facing dog, then the hands are lower back and the kneecaps are lifted. We'll come back through table and into downward dog or child's pose, and we'll just take 3 refreshing breaths. Keep starting over. Keep checking in. How am I doing? What does my body have to say? Fine-tuning that skill of listening that will extend itself off the mat. High on the tiptoes to walk up towards the front. Halfway lengthen, breathe in. And fold, exhale. And press into the feet and come all the way up. Trace the center line back to the heart. Pause and take it all in. Release the arms. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in. Fold over the legs. Exhale. Lengthen halfway. And then belly to thighs. Plant the palms, right leg back. And then the left leg back to plank. You can either come right to your knees in child's pose or shift back through the flow to lower. Moving into a back bend. Finding a breath that suits your rhythm as we make our way back through table and meet in a resting pose for another 3 breaths. It's 1, 2, and 3. High on the tiptoes and travel towards the front. Halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold. And press into the feet and come all the way up, breathing in. Exhale. Just keeping some heat and energy going. We'll come into Utkatasana. So the feet can be hips distance apart, or you can have your big toes together. You can take your hands into the hip crease there between the upper thigh and the bone. Thumbs there as you press in a little bit, roll the hips away from center. It's like you're moving back to find a little chair. You can sit in a chair if you want. And the hands can stay at the hips or reach forward just straight in front. If the shoulders are open enough, then the arms might move upwards or just, say a prayer here. One more inhale there. And exhale to fold over the legs. Wiggle your feet apart if they were together. We're going to do Surya Namaskar B now. So come up halfway, lengthen. And then exhale, fold. We're stepping to plank again. So just notice if you do one leg coming back first, try to switch it up. Each side getting a balance. And then lower, moving through the vinyasa into a cobra. And then back through table. Toes will curl under. Hips will lift high. We'll just take one breath there. And the right leg reaches up and back. And the right knee towards the chest. Shoulders over wrists, lifting that heel high. Making some space to step the right foot up. And this time we'll keep the back knee lifted. Get light on the fingertips. Reach the arms back. Come up a little higher with your torso. And so we'll come into a high lunge and bend the back knee. Just adding a little bit of a variation on here. You can take a hold of opposite elbows if you like that. Or hands at the lower back to squeeze the shoulder blades together. Cactus shape. Whatever feels best in your shoulders. We're going to twist over towards the left. And then back towards center. Breathe in. And bring the left hand down outside the right foot or over to the left side of the mat. Draw the right hip crease back as you revolve it over towards the right. Let's do a few big circles with the right arm. Forward. You can follow your arm with your gaze. Try to keep the hips quiet. Could be on a fist instead with that left arm. You could have your back knee down. And then bring the palms down. Let's just press it up and back again, downward facing dog. If you feel like a little more heat, you can take it through the vinyasa. Otherwise, just hang out here. Collect yourself, honesty. Meet in downward dog. We'll take the left leg up and back. I'd like to step my feet a little closer together. And then bring the left knee towards the nose. Really find that flexion in the spine as you look forward. And then step the left foot up. Reach out through the back heel, now lifting the belly, light in the hands or floating the arms back. It's like an airplane going to take off. Bend the back knee a little bit as you come up. And settle with the back knee a little bit bent so the lower back has more space. Choose your arm position, opposite elbows or cactus, or hands, hips, or low back. And from that, we'll just work on our balance a little bit. We'll take it to twist over towards the left. And then back through center, inhale. And then twisting again to the left. Inhale, center. Wobbles are welcome. Exhaling. Inhale. And then the right hand will come down. Straighten out the back leg again. Draw the left hip crease back and take it into a twist. Wrapping the right ribs under a few big circles with the left arm. And follow the fingers with your gaze. Reaching towards the right corner of your mat. And then to the left back corner. Bring the hands down, lean some weight into the palms and step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale, let's all meet in child's pose. Knees together or knees wide apart, you decide. Wrists maybe like that stretch with the hands back, or you can even kind of sit on your wrists, place them between your calves and your thighs. Let the elbows go wide. Can be creative. Slowing it down a bit. I'm going to ask a little bit more of ourselves because, and the answer can be no. So self-compassion is not passivity or always just going to the relax. It might be that. It's also just having a firm, loving intention towards getting strong. Let's come back to the table and curl the toes under, lift the hips high. And then let's take the right leg up and back again. Lengthen into that three-legged dog. You can give the ankle a bit of a stretch, circle that out. Right knee towards the nose, right foot steps up. So we're in that low lunge, pressing out through the heel and getting light in the hands. So you might have a chair or a wall that you like to use. You might have something underneath your hands, blocks that are higher. I'm going to start to bring it through into a warrior three. Can also just do that kind of from where we were before, where we reach the arms back and come up a little higher. And then stepping the back foot a little bit forward to float it up. And maybe there's a wall right in front of me, lucky me. So not necessarily so much about the balance, but just finding the strong back leg to wherever it's lifted. Level through the hips. Any position with the arms for one more breath. And bring the left knee in and up. Reaching the arms up and then crossing the left ankle above the right knee. So a figure four shape. You can bring the hands to the hips and just working here on the balance or sitting back. And so if you do have something and you'd like to take a little more into the hip stretch of it, then you can reach for the chair, the couch, or the wall. And lift up the left hip a little bit as you hug the right inner thigh to center. For one more breath. Reach it up, inhale. Exhale, stand down, let the arms come down and just taking it in again. All the sensations, thoughts flowing by, breath, reining it in, grounding back through the feet. And why are you here today? Let's reach the arms up. We'll do the other side. We'll fold over the legs. Exhale. Come up halfway. Inhale. And we'll step right back to downward facing dog. It'll be the left leg this time. Reaches up and back. Inhale. Left knee towards the nose. Exhale. Stepping the left foot up. Taking a breath in that low lunge. And then however it is that you'd like to take it forward towards a warrior three, hands can stay down, back leg can lift a bit. You can even just keep the back toes on the floor and take this really strong low lunge posture. Or use something else to balance. If balance is off, that's okay. Notice all of it. Good, and then bring the right knee towards the nose as you come up and reach. And then cross the right ankle above the left knee. Hands to the hips. You can stay up tall, working on the balance, or start to sit down a little here, looking at something that's not moving. Really nice stretch if you do have a way to rest your upper body on something, and then you can sit a little lower. Just like when we were on our back. If you'd rather be sitting down and just doing the figure four stretch, great. One more inhale. Exhale, let's try to come up, knee, and release. Just throw it away. Inhale, couple of throws, exhale. Once more in. And just fold over the legs. And give your wrists a stretch if you like from here. You can bend the knees a lot and slide your hands right under with the palms up. Walk your toes into your wrists a few times. Belly to thighs. And then release the hands. Start to come down with the toes turned out a little bit, and you can roll up your mat and have that underneath your heels. We're coming into a squat, or a blanket or a cushion underneath your heels, or you can sit right down on your bum. We'll just walk it a little bit, looking from side to side. For this one, have your hands down on the ground. Just let your head traction towards your hands and let the spine round out a little bit. And slowly start to drop your seat down. Bring your hands around behind your back to help with that. And stretch the legs out. Just give them a little bit of a drum out. They don't have to be in your widest V shape. Just loosen them up. Loop the shoulders up and down the back, press out through the heels. And take the right hand behind the head and bring the left hand to the left inner thigh and open up to the side to stay here. Or to take it in to a little more of the side stretch, leaning the head back into the hands. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, right hand comes down. Loop the shoulders, take the left hand behind the head. Starting to wrap the right ribs under and around a little bit to take the side stretch. You can just stay tall here. Or slide the right hand down a little further, pull the ground back or your leg as you open up a little more heart opening, twist, side stretch. Inhale back to center, exhale, reach the arms back and bend the knees now. Drop the right knee and the left knee with the feet quite wide apart over to one side. Pressing down through the shins and then back to center, inhale and exhale, switch. Let's take it a couple more times like that. We'll bring the knees together now. I've still got a booster underneath myself, and I'll wrap my hands underneath my thighs. And this can be your forward fold here before we come to rest, or walk the legs out a little bit, wiggle the heels so your spine has that non-traction, weight of the head towards the feet to wherever the body wants to go right now. Back to just allowing the breath to inhabit this shape. Little more of the back lungs. Chin to chest to come up. And then for our final shape, and do have yourself cozy. So if you've been warm and taken things off and you'd like a blanket or a big sweater, I'm taking my flat blanket or towel. It's going to go right between my shoulder blades when I lie down. And so for the babbling brook, I'm going to want to have a pillow underneath my thighs. And probably something for the head as well. We'll do this pose again in our restorative class on Thursday and take a lot more time with it. So for now, if you can get your bum between two supports, it's like the rocks and the water is just rushing easily, naturally over those stones in the river. So very subtle and very worthwhile. If you have the things around you in the space, you might need a little something extra underneath your neck. You can use your scarf or a shirt. You could put something over your eyes as well. Arms can be wherever it's comfortable, outstretched or in cactus or resting along the torso. Kind of all shook up and letting things settle. Let everything in the front body drop into the back body. The snow globe, the snowflakes settling on the ground just as they are outside right now. No effort here, nothing to be done. And there is a practice, tried and true, lots of evidence that repeating a few simple phrases changes the more prevalent wiring of the brain to the amygdala, the fear centers, the fight or flight. So when we offer these phrases towards ourselves, the centers of empathy and compassion and higher cerebral functioning start to light up. May I be peaceful. May I be happy. May I be strong and healthy. May I be safe. Don't have to be those exact ones, but something along those lines of goodwill towards oneself, starting by putting your own oxygen mask on. May I be peaceful. May I be happy. May I have good health and be strong. May I be safe. If you have a longer time rest. You can continue just to be where you are and don't worry about closing. And if you need to move or ready to move, just give a little vibration back to fingers and toes. Maybe another hug. Be aware of the props that are underneath yourself. And slide over to one side to the rescue pose. Appreciating yourself for having performed that life-saving practice. Nobody measuring. No right or wrong. No rules. Press the top hand to take a seat. And all of that to extending that goodwill towards ourselves makes it a little easier to then be there for others. So let's just take a moment with the hands in the lap or resting at the center of the chest, nodding towards each other, including and extending each other and others in our bubbles and beyond. May we all be happy, may we all be well, healthy, strong. May we all be safe. Have a great day. Namaste. You can unmute yourself, I think, if you'd like, if you're still hanging in.
Thank you, Kathy.
That was great.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you,
so
Kathy.
welcome. So
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Great class.
Joining
Thank you.
me. Yeah, so
Thanks,
tomorrow,
Kathy.
you're welcome. If you're coming tomorrow, it's the express version, more of a stretch out, and then Thursday's the restorative. So great to be with you all this morning. Enjoy,
Thanks
You.
again.
whatever it is. Okay, take
Take
care.
care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kathy.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.